role of a business architect in Pega, and what is the like objectives, requirements, and specifications. So today actually we are going to see actually what is the Pega's best practice says about what is objectives, how you define objectives, and what is requirements analysis, and how you define requirements, how you capture requirements in Pega. Okay. So this topic is actually uh, actually because this actually you have done actually many times actually objectives, requirements actually in your part of work you have done that actually. So this is actually maybe like the subjective when related to the best practice. So this objectives might differ from what actually other industry standard says. So if you have anything in between, you can interrupt with that. Okay. So here actually what we are going to do first actually what is actually clearly defined business objectives, what is smart business objective, and the same 5 smart objective like it should be specific, measurable, relevant, and time bound. So that will we are seeing in terms of that how we can define that one. So the main thing is when we define a business objective, what is business objective? So that is define what actually want to achieve. So that is like in one sentence, we want to get the complete overview of your complete requirement or the objective for that application. So that should be very specific. So there is an example if you are, we can see that. So we are going to give for the 3 like business objectives can be short term, intermediate, or long term. So for a company, if we see a company which is a car rental company, and currently they are not doing anything from the Pega application, and they want to improve their business. So at least they have started with initially they actually given a target that they want to increase their rental by 5,000 per month by the quarter. So in this example, you can see they are specific. They are actually given the what is the measurable. They want to increase that their reservation of 5,000, and also time bound as well. Like what time they want to increase that. So every example you can see the same example, and like the short term, long, intermediate, and long. So they want to increase by 10,000, they increase to by 20,000 in the intermediate. So what do you mean by actually see when we develop any application, so we need different releases. So in the initial term, actually we have not given all the functionality, so we given any less target onto that. Once if you like people are getting more examples and they got domain knowledge, skills, and the marketing have increased, so they increase the target onto that. And after that, the long term, actually on that, we want to actually like if it is like it was there for more than the time, so we can get better result onto that. So business objectives define short term, intermediate, and long term part of that. So what you mean by smart? So objective in Pega's terms, it says that the objective should be smart, it should be specific, it should be measurable, it should be achievable, and it should be relevant, and it should be time bound. So how we can feel like so business objective here, if it is defined in a smart way, it is giving the value to that, and the value can be measured actually if we say KPIs. So that actually says that key performance indicators. So there actually depend on the key performance indicators can be different. Actually depend on the customer engagement, customer satisfaction, return of investments. So that actually we can define different key performance indicator to define the objective. And also actually Pega says that if you are going to define that, use the first word as actually like how we are going to achieve that. So use some action words to define the objective. So like something that you want to reduce the cancellation, you want to limit the limit the number of errors or increase the customers, and actually like all that actually you can mainly like use the action verbs to define the objective. So now we are going to see what do you mean by like specific one, what is the specific, what is measurable, what is achievable, what is relevant, and what is time. So specific is actually like sorry. So specific is what we want to accomplish and how actually we can measure that we achieved our goal. So every business objective should provide that. So this is again an example. So complete 1,000 or more car reservation online each month by end of quarter 2017. So in this example, you can see it's like we are specific like what we want to deliver by our application. And actually we can see that when we achieved our goal by the time bound, so that we will see in the remaining example. So that is again the same example. Actually, like in that we see that we have actually what we want to measure it. So that actually we have the measurable objectives into it, and so that's actually like when you see that we want to use verbs, specific conditions, and the KPIs. So KPIs are already told. There are different KPIs can be then there: customer satisfaction, customer engagement, customer retentions, or return of investments. So all that can be like as a part of the KPI can be onto that. And the next thing is the achievable. So when we are targeting, actually if we say actually like we are going for the first time and we say we want to increase by 1 lakh. So that actually like we can say that is not achievable within that time frame. So we should actually like set that actually which is achievable, so that we should not give any unrealistic to the stakeholders. So achievable is realistic to stakeholders, so that actually we want to achieve something which we can done within that time frame. Okay. So relevant is actually like that actually was where actually if you see this is a car reservation company. So the objective should relate to the your particular business which we are doing, and also it's relevant to the what actually the Pega solutions we are developing, that should include that as well. And finally the time bound. So time bound, if you can say, we are going to complete this reservation in every month by end of quarter 2 2017. So this is actually like in Pega's terminology we say that the SMART, it should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So Pega provide this template when we define template. So first actually if you want to get that the specific who and want, then it's like the measurable one from baseline to number or any rate, percentage or change or any KPIs can be given onto the in the measurable criteria, and when actually the time bound. So as part of that, in Pega always says that like you can use this template to define the SMART objectives. So in this example, you can see reduce customer response time. So that if you like, if you want to specific one, and in the measurable from 24 hours to 12 hours. So we have a base also, like from which rate to which rate we want to increase, to reduce. And actually, like when we want to, like what is the time bound for that? So we are going to achieve that the target by third quarter of 2018. So this is actually we can see that the business objective, and the same business objective can be converted to requirement and can convert it into specification. So these two things we will see in more detail in remaining sessions. So now you actually get to know actually what is SMART objective. Hello?
Yeah, I got it. So I mean the business objective and requirement. Okay, that's
yeah. So business objectives we are converting that into different requirements, multiple requirements.
And then it moves on to the specification. Okay.
Yes, that's right. So actually, like the more detail will become into the specification onto that. So now actually, like there are some questions actually prepared onto that. So just initial bit you can see. So if you can see this actually question, actually reduce the customer support call for cancelled rental car registration by 30% by end of fourth quarter. So is this objective is smart enough?
I think yes. It has percentage, time, support calls cancelled.
30
Yeah,
percentage of what? Like,
that's right. Actually, one thing is that like from what actually we want to reduce that. So there is one thing is missing. What is actually base one? So from what we want to reduce to 30%. Okay, and the second thing is the fourth
The
quarter.
reservation, right?
I think 30% of support calls it is.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like reduce customer support call for cancel rental cars. Like
Yeah, only yeah. Actually, that is the like the specific part, but it should be given one like from what rate to actually what is the current percentage of that, and they want to reduce that by 30%. Yeah, one thing. Yeah, the statement is yeah ambiguous for that. So most of the time, actually, when we want to reduce like the specific thing, the base rate should be also given onto the objective. So in this, yeah, we can say that the current one we can take by 30% of 30% of the current one. So we don't know what is the current.
okay. Yeah. Mhm.
So that it will like that need to be specific onto that. What is the current onto that? Because the percentage doesn't say how much actually that would be. So that's why I say that it's not measurable from that. And one more thing, if you can see, it's written just the fourth quarter. It doesn't say you which year. So the year is also missing from this one.
so it's not time bound.
Yeah, actually it's not time bound as well. So
That's
you cannot measure actually how long it will take, which fourth quarter. So like it may be 2017, 2020, anything can be onto that. So it should be measurable. It cannot be measured by that time bound. So both things are not there into that.
So
Okay?
what would be the correct statement for this objective? Reduce customer support calls for cancelled rental car reservations.
Situation why actually there should be some current onto that. Actually, like if you say not on the from the current, or you can write what is the current onto that. So if you say actually
Okay.
from actually what is that 100 to 70. So if it is they are saying like there is 100 support calls, so they want to reduce to 70.
by the fourth quarter of 2016 or
Yeah,
17.
anything. Yeah, 2017 or 2017. If it is there, then it will be the complete objective will be measurable of that.
Okay.
Okay. The next thing is what is three action verbs to use in the business objective?
Reduce is one.
Yep.
Increase, decrease.
Increase, decrease, yes. Yeah. So actually there so many are there. Actually like to limit. So all the action verbs you can increase, decrease, limit, reduce. So that actually like can be part of the business objectives. Okay. So what actually like why we want to include KPIs in business objective?
Measurable. I mean, you're talking about the third one?
The measurable, yeah, third one, right?
Being measurable.
Yes. So that's actually like mainly like we want to add values actually like and how we can measure actually like we have achieved the business objectives in that particular time period. So we include the matrices, KPIs, key performance indicator.
Also,
again,
it can also ensure traceability, right? Like
Uh,
between the requirements and
yes,
the objective.
that's right. You can actually the traceability also come, but traceability parts actually with the requirements actually we don't achieve with the metrics.
Okay.
Metrics is actually like the separate actually how your traceability we do actually during the build only, like how that your business objectives are getting traceable, like converted into requirements and specification. But there actually you have developed your application and it's live into the production, and then you define some metrics to distinguish that one actually how your business objectives are you are getting into that.
Okay.
Yeah. The next question. our project stockholders have given you a list of business objectives. Which objective is a SMART objective?
I think it's D.
Yes, actually in the D, actually it says the convert, it is specific. So 35% of the lead to customer within 30 days of initial contact. So that is actually time bound, measurable and achievable as well. Yeah. So then the next one, your goal is to work with stakeholder to review an existing list of requirements and identify SMART objective. Which statement is again SMART objective?
Is it B? It talks
Yeah.
about.
Yes, Manoj, it's B. Because in this actually you have the limit, the specific actually like limit the customer response time to more than, like, so there is a measurable within 24 hours we want to do that, and there is KPIs also, like our NPS by 5 points by time bound, fourth quarter of 2017. So there is all the things are within that statement only, and if you like, if the first statement doesn't contain any time bound, C also, it doesn't see any time bound into that, and this also in D also there is no time bound. Yeah, so this is actually like some different question. Your goal is to work with stakeholder to define SMART business objective to obtain sign off. Which two statements describe the benefits of business objective?
C and D.
Yep, that's right, Priyanka. It's C and D because from the metrics actually we got to know how the progress achieved toward the specific goal and during the application development, and it's adding the value to the bigger solution. So that's the two answers. Okay. Yeah. So that's actually like the complete of the objectives. What are the different objectives and what are the SMART objectives and how you can create a template for the objectives in Pega's best practice. So the next topic actually we are going to cover is
Mukesh, sorry, can you just explain one more time the last slide?
Yeah, 1 minute.
Sorry.
This is right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you see, actually here, if you want to that, what is the main benefit out of the SMART business objective? So if you see the first one, that doesn't describe any operation or definition. Okay. The next question is actually that doesn't define, that describe the modification needed for an existing implementation. So in this actually there is nothing say that like you have a new application or you have actually a new application. So that actually like objectives are nothing related to with this one. So the main thing actually if we say in this one, actually we say, sorry. So there actually like if you, from the objectives we can get to know how that actually it can be measured. Okay, we have a specific goal, what we want to achieve, and during that actually that can be reported onto that. Okay, this is actually like during the application development, what are the different KPIs so we have, so we can check that out, how much progress we have achieved for that business objective. And then finally like it says actually Pega solutions actually adding the values to the Pega solution. So that actually was the default one. So it will come.
Okay, so that's kind of a default one. Okay, I was wondering what is D. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, that's the default one. It's like Pega's actually because everything is onto the Pega's solution. So what's the value of Pega solution is adding to the business. So that's the solution onto that. Okay.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, there is no specific rationals for that one. So that is like the default actually because we are using the Pegas and that is adding the values to the business. So now actually like the next one actually we are trying to get the how we do the requirement analysis and what are the different attributes of a good requirement and how we can categorize requirements. Okay. So requirement analysis is, we are going to cover more detail as a DCO as well, but here actually we are just taking care of the requirement analysis, actually just a normal scenario. Okay. So here, first thing, whenever we go for analyze requirement, there are three important tasks. As in the this is actually as for PEGA, it's not normal word. So in terms of PEGA best practice, so we need to first identify who are the stakeholders. So there are different stakeholders are there: project sponsors, business stakeholders, end users. Okay. So what do you mean by stakeholders? Actually, like they are the person who are actually the impact, they are the influence, they are the interest onto the the new solution or proposed solution. So their words are actually like more influence onto that. If they change, actually they do say that we don't want this one, so they feel like we can't build that part. So that need to be removed from the requirements. So that feel like so their words are very much impactable and influence it. So we should involve every stakeholders while actually before analyzing the requirement. All the stakeholders should be communicated and we should take the inputs. Every input should be taken from all the stakeholders. And the next step is the elicit requirement. So we know actually like business users or actually like the business stakeholders. So they actually like sometimes actually like they cannot give you the exact requirement. They may say that okay, we want this, or actually something which is not relevant to the application or something. So we need to ask some questions to them. So that actually like, and based on that their input, we can ask some additional questions to them. And then actually we can get to know, okay, they want actually the exact requirement from that. So there actually in that terminology, we got to know what is actually the requirements actually they want. So that actually will be covered, how they can do that from that part. And then finally we record the requirements in PEGA 7. So we are going to see how we can do that today. After actually like we discussed about this slide, we are going to do that, how we can record the requirements in PEGA 7. Yeah, so actually I've given more details onto that, like the second part of that, elicit requirement. Okay, so we should know actually like when we do a requirement analysis, we should know what that new application or the existing application, if we are going to create a new application, we should know what actually the new application we are going to create, what the functionality will be there. And if it is an existing application, what actually like the existing feature is there, how we are going to change that behavior onto that. So that we need to do first part of to that. And then what will be the end result? So finally actually what we want to, from that objectives, what should we want to get that? So end results. So first actually what we need to get what we want to do and what will be the final result from that requirement. What are the different functionality you want to add on to that? What are the different, which will be the most, actually if you have multiple capabilities, which will be most important to you, so that can be part of the first release, or that we can define the importance of the requirement onto that. So there actually we can see, because actually the business stakeholders are not that keen to provide you the exact requirement, we should interact with them to get the exact requirement. We need to ask some more questions, and then from that questions actually we can go to the more additional questions, and finally we get the exact requirement from them. And everyone actually when the requirement analysis happens, everyone should be in a sync, so that there should not be any gap onto the requirement. So if you see actually we are doing requirement analysis, and if there is a gap, there will be like there will be gap in the specification, and there will be gap into the application, and finally everything will come into that, oh, this requirement is completely missing, we are not able to do that. So that should not be happen, and it should be, we should make a agreement between project sponsors, business stakeholders, and business architect that all the requirements are met, and we are actually like going ahead for the development or specification onto that. So the requirement analysis play a major role when we're developing any applications, or before developing an application. That should be, requirement should be proper and concise.
Mukesh, I have one question.
Yes, Sonal.
Sometimes it is not possible to identify complete requirements. So
Yes, right.
what should we do at that time when we don't have complete requirements with us?
Yeah. So actually, see, for that, it's like we need to communicate. So that is like in Pegas, always say that like when you have the requirements are incomplete, try to get the create a different in the Pega itself. Actually, when we are capturing the requirement, we can mark that as incomplete requirement, and we want more discussion or more information from business stakeholders.
If we have missed the requirement, if it is like we didn't recognize it earlier, but while the developers are working on, we realize that this is also a new requirement. This missed at that time, we realize, and the release is like the next day. So how to make things go easy?
I think that we need to talk with the stakeholders and push it back to the backlog, right? As per the sprint, if it is something you cannot put into production, then you have to push it back or to the next sprint, I think.
Yeah.
This is what I think. I mean, I'll let you guys speak.
Yeah, thanks, Manoj. Yeah, that's actually that we need to actually see. There is actually if we have time, we can go for that. Otherwise, actually, we need to mention that requirement into a separate backlog. Or actually, if it's actually, and then we need to interact with the project sponsors and the business stakeholders. To that, actually, if that requirement is very critical, or actually, if you, without that, if you want to go to the production or go live, will that impact? So that is like we need to delay our deployment. So before that, we need to deploy that application. So that depend on the requirements criticality. If that is not that critical, that can go to the next phase or next iteration.
Good. Yeah.
Okay. And in Pega, is there any means we can recognize that, we can make sure in Pega that we don't miss any requirement?
Yes,
like,
we have.
Yes.
Yes, actually, like we can capture the complete requirement, and actually we can have the related specification, and then we can relate all the specification with the related rules, and we can mark that okay, this is implemented, this is not implemented. We can directly capture everything within the Pega itself. Okay. So from that you can see that if some of the requirements are not required, you can mark that as for the next release, or you can given different options are there when you capture the requirement within Pega. So that we are going to see as well.
So it's more of a practical thing. Like we are now going through subjective. So there might be something to do practically in order to capture all the requirements.
Yeah, actually it's just if you say if you have uses like use case or any attachment or anything, you can okay, you can attach that directly into the Pega. So I'll just show you that the screen.
So Mukesh, like you're saying for the Scrum Master roles, what are tools you need, like burn down charts and everything is also built in Pega?
No. That things are not there.
Okay.
Only thing is, yeah, for that it's like the project management. Yeah, Pega provide different frameworks for that. Actually, like there is a framework that is called a project management framework. So that is a different licensed product.
Okay, but that we won't have access, right? As business architects, right. we won't have access, right?
No, actually, there is it's there. Then you can have access to that because business architect is part of the development team in Pega. So they will have access to that project framework, like project management framework as well.
Oh, okay. So we can use those burn down charts and all those things from there.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So if you see, like that actually I want to cover a little bit later, but okay. So if you see in the profile, you can see the requirements. Okay. So here, actually, if you want to create requirement, it will be like, if you want to actually, you have in an Excel sheet, you want to load it, you can load as well directly. If you want to create, actually, like if you want to write capture the requirements directly, we can do this part. So if you say like there are, what is the category of that? It is a new requirement, or is a functional requirement, is a non-functional requirement, or is a enterprise requirement, or is a change control. That also we can define the category of the rule. So here, if you can see there, you can define what is the category of the rule, what is the importance of the rule. Okay. What is the status? It's a new, or is it like in progress? It is blocked. It's pending. Okay, it's withdrawn. So that all things also you can mention directly here. And which release you want to go for that requirement. So you can create releases as well. So that this is part of the project management framework. So there you can see that which release you want to give that requirement. So that which when we are going for the deployment, which release it will be part of that. So that also we can mention it here. And with iteration, so there are actually multiple iterations are going on. So these two are part of the project management framework. And if there are multiple releases are going on, you can give the releases and iteration there. And if you are maintaining the requirements ID in its separate application, there we can just link to that as well. So there is actually like so there actually you are maintaining, and in Pega also you are maintaining the same requirement ID, so that can be linked with different requirement ID over here. And here you can write the description, and the complete requirements can be written here as well. And if you want to attach any attachment related to the requirements, so that also can be add here. And you can want to use just to URL attach, so you can attach a URL as well. So if you are say you have a different repository, so that actually you can drag the file, or you want to give the link so that it will be linked with that. So that's two way you can go for the attachment or to that. So this is a way we capture requirements within the Pega. Okay, so based on that, so that actually told here you can see you have different options. So if you mark that requirement is complete, or if it is a new requirement, so in that scenario you can include a new requirement, and you can give that as a new requirement onto that.
Mukesh, this is more of a project management. This is how we, means I didn't get that how we are going to capture requirement from this. This is yes.
Yeah.
This is the initial process, I think, to manage the work.
No,
here,
actually, okay, go ahead, Sonal.
How we are going to capture the requirement from this? I don't think that from this we are going to capture the requirement.
No, actually you need to capture means like you need to type the requirement. See, actually initially we don't give the releases and iteration or anything. Actually we just give the requirement and short description. Okay, that two things you capture it, and then if you have more details are coming for that requirement, how you can go for the requirement is all about. So you can give more details. You can edit it multiple times. And when like you have decided, okay, your requirement is done, okay, you have finalized, all the requirements are actually, if you say you are in a meeting, okay, and there actually you have captured some of the requirements. So you can capture the requirement directly in this place itself. So you can give the description of the requirement here, and you can give the requirements, okay, see, I want to give that requirement ID as REQ0001, okay, and actually categorize as a, this is the business rule, and I want it's critical, very important, or it's a desirable or useful. So just say it's very important, status new, and I give that because we are going to create for one application. This is So you want that to provide customer to login. Okay. So this is one actually like just small screen, and there you can see what should be there, more details onto the requirement here.
Okay, this is the only thing to capture the requirement, or are there any other
Yeah, in the
tools?
requirement you are going to capture only this much, only that much. You don't need to. Then actually that will be going to capture into the specifications, not into the requirement. So the requirement may be like the one-liner. From
Yeah.
that, like from the one-liner, you are going to convert that requirement into multiple functional specification.
Yes. Okay.
So
Okay.
here,
That's
actually, just capturing the requirements only. You're not going to capture the complete details of actually how you are going to implement that
how the
requirement.
process is going to flow. This is not.
No, no,
Because
no,
I'm
no, no, no,
looking for
no.
that screen where we can just draw the whole process, how we are going to achieve the requirement. Because while drawing it or while just picturing it, at that time we come to know what we have missed. So looking at this screen, I could not just figure out that this thing I'm missing. This is just we are recording our requirements. We want
That's right.
this.
This is for just the capturing of the requirement. So there is
Okay.
we are once actually the requirements are defined, we are going to create the process and stages after that. So
Okay.
based on that,
So
you have. Yes, Manoj.
do we use, since we use the agile Scrum, do we use a lot of those terminology or jargons here? Like can we say that this is the user story?
Yeah, that's right. Actually, like user story and use cases are very much are actually defined with the requirements. So we integrate that. That's if you say you have in a separate application you are using that use case. So here we can just mention about that external require ID to that to map this Pega requirement to the use case with that. So mainly like in Pegas always say that use Scrum or Pega BPM for any development. So Scrum terminologies are very much used while capturing the requirements and specifications. So this is the release and iteration are part of the Scrums only. Which release of the Scrum we are going to go that, which iteration we are going to use that. So that's the part of this project release and iteration part of it. So depend on the methodology we are going to use. So we need to provide that iteration and release of it.
So Mukesh, the status, release, iteration, importance, all of them are drop downs, right? So
That's right.
where do we set up that? Like for example, iteration and release is very specific to a particular project. Who sets it up and how do we do it?
Yeah, that is like that needs to require some actually like project management framework to need to be there with that. So I'll tell you about that one. It's like on the remaining actually how we can provide different releases and different situations. So for the time being, just because this is not required at the moment, so we're going to cover that up in the remaining class. Okay. So this is the way we're going to capture requirements in Pega. Okay. We're going to do that. So this is we can how to do requirement capturing. We'll going to do that in further classes. So actually we have a complete requirement actually application, and we're going to create multiple requirements, and then we're going to create multiple specifications, how they are related to each other. We're going to see that. Okay. So before that, okay, we need to cover up some more parts. So Pega provides one more thing actually, like how we can go to how we can write this good requirement. Okay, so Pega provide actually like there are eight different characteristics to define a good requirement. So it says that it should be verifiable one, it should be clear, it should be concise, it should be complete, it should be consistent, and it should be traceable, it should be viable, necessary, and solution free. There are some more are there, like it should be granular. So that is like one by one. Actually, there are how we can go for that, because all these are actually I thought like I just included in this presentation, so it will be good to know. But so actually, I think you know all this part of it, like what you mean by verifiable, clear, and concise. So there if you say like the verifiable means like the requirements which we have given, it should be tested by the testers. So that if we say that like the requirement can be tested. Okay, so there the examples are there. User can view the by price, by make, by model, and by location. So they're all you can see that these requirements are, you can check it out. You can be tested on that one. So clear and concise. So what the Pega's best practice is that you should not give additional sentence. Sorry, it should be like limit to the 30 to 50 words. Use active voice with proper grammar, spelling, punctuation. Don't use ambiguous language. Okay, don't include any definitions, description, and justification. And use terms consistently. And if you have any, you are using any specific abbreviation, you should define a glossary or data dictionary for the same. And whatever you are defining the requirements, that should be complete. So it should not actually give you, if you say, I want to do, that's actually if you say that sentence is still says the requirement is not complete. So that actually you should give the complete one, requirement should be complete one. So if you are going for a specific feature, so I want to look for car reservation by truck. So that we can see this is the complete requirement, and there should be some benchmark we can put onto that. And we should put a like the same approach how we are defining the requirements. So we should use a same consistency terminology and syntax while we are defining to the requirement, so that other people who are going to use your requirements like solution architect or essays, so they can actually identify that related requirements and functionality. And one more thing actually, it should not contradict, the requirement should not be contradict with each other. If we say one requirement says it need to be filtered by date, and another says that it should not filter by date. So they both requirements are contradictory. So there should not be any requirement which should be contradict to each other and should not be conflict with each other. And actually we should follow the organization standard. So whatever the organization standard, like so if in a company there are all the best standards, and standards are predefined, so we should use adhere to that standards while defining the requirements. So not actually like it says what Pega says, like there are something which we need to adhere to our organization standards as well. And the next is it should be traceable. Okay, so if you like we can relate like how the requirements are actually like satisfy the customer need, and all the requirements should be mapped to the customer need. And actually if any requirements which are like we cannot map to the back onto that, so we should not include into the scope, because if we are not able to achieve it or we are not able to trace that requirement, so we should not actually like should not be the part of scope, because that will create the confusion, or it will like it will give the business stakeholders the wrong negative view about that one, because we have included that in our application and this requirement, but we are not able to trace it, or we are not able to map that to actually in our requirement. So that should not be part of the scope on that time. Yep, and actually like if you see viable, so viable means actually like it should be like achievable. So it is the same word actually like it should be achievable. So a development team should be able to satisfy the good requirement. So that is like the requirement which can be built within the project schedule and within the budget with the available technology and staff. So that is like you say that the requirement actually which we are giving, that should be achievable. And if that is like we say it will going to take longer time, and we have a iterations or release within a month, and that is going to take 1 month, more than 1 month. So we should not consider that requirement of that part of the release. So that actually we need to take care of during that. Then necessary. So there we should include what we want to achieve from that. The requirement is very much required. So it should meeting with the business objective. we should not include, which is actually in the business objective. It's defined something, and we are defining some requirements in different contexts. So that will create confusion onto that. So we should actually define the requirement as a necessary onto that, and it should meet the business objective. Yeah, and the requirement should not talk about the solution, how you want to achieve it. So that should not actually relate any, like if you say, I want to use any web server. So in the requirement, it should not be given say that I want to use as a Apache for my system. So that all things actually that are actually solution one. So we should not mention solutions in the requirement. And the next thing is the granularity. Okay, so granularity says that obviously the requirement should give one requirement at once. So we should not say it should like say I want to say I want to achieve A and B or C. So if you see in this one, actually there are 3 requirements, and that should be converted into 3 different cases. I want to A and B or C. So Pega says that like if it is there any if you are using any multiple requirements, convert into multiple requirements. Don't use any conjunctions onto the requirements. So it's better to give different requirements onto that. Okay, and we should actually redundant requirements. So there actually sometime it we do cut paste. So we should actually take our requirements for duplicates. And finally, like the requirement should be understandable for both business and technical holders. So that will like give you the more business context, and that should be, so if it is actually like understandable, it will give you a better product and better application. And if there are any questions, we should ask the questions with the clarification to business stakeholders or other parties which are involved into the application or actually like in the requirement analysis.
Mukesh, these are in general business analysis thing, right? Like, is there anything specific to Pega in this? No, right?
No, actually that's actually, yeah, Manoj, actually that's I told in starting of the session, right? Actually, these things are Pega defined best practices.
Okay.
So yeah, this is industry. That's what I told. Like in industry, there can be a more tips actually when how you can write good requirements, but these are actually Pega's best practices, how you can define a good requirements for normal. Actually, it's not just about Pega. It can be for any requirement, can be for the good requirement. So these are not actually just Pega specific. So you can actually defining any application outside world as well. You can follow this requirement tips.
Okay. But this is actually defined by Pega though.
Yes, that's right. So this is actually like for the Pega's best practices, say how you can define a good requirement. So this is actually like all the things actually with the different requirements. And if you see the slides, actually I've given some examples for everyone in the below. So what actually like say good example, what is into that. So that's not visible into the slide. So when we will share the slide, you can see that out. Okay. So the next is the category of the requirement. So if we actually I just show you that like in Pega's when we are saying the category, these are the 5 categories which are mentioned on when we are defining the requirement. So the business rules requirement that define the constraint and enable of the business operation. And the change control is actually mainly like is for an existing application. So if we have actually we have already developed an application and we want to make some changes to that. So in that time, we go for the change control requirement as a requirement. So that is like after release, we go for any modification. And then the industry standard. So this is actually mainly your enterprise level, because it's like if you want to use any third party like as security, like if you say for security, you have to use industry standard is that we have to go for SSO or LDAP. So that's the standard way we need to go for the enterprise level. and then finally the functional and non-functional. So that is the function is where actually the main role when we write the requirements in Pega. So that is the main is the functional requirement where we describe how we the software or application we are going to do, what are the things it will be do by the that application. And non-functional requirement are we are going to do, like there are different criteria for non-functional requirement, like the database should not be down for 24 hours, like it should be available, the scalability and all the things will be come into the non-functional requirement. So we are going to see different examples for each of the category. Yeah.
Oh, can you explain one more time the enterprise standard requirement? I didn't follow that.
Yeah, actually there are actually if you say if you are working on any specific industry, right? Or actually if you are some actually like in your requirements are actually specific to your enterprise. So if you say if you are going to see a page and you want that your enterprise like company logo should be visible at the left side at the top of the corner every time.
Okay.
So that actually we say that is the industry like your enterprise standard. So that actually you need to do that because that is not customer requirement, but for your organization you want need to be displayed there.
Oh,
that
kind of customization you mean?
Yeah, enterprise level. So that's actually if you want some standard specific requirement for your organization or industry wise. If you say you're working on banking, you want it like the whatever the things is going with the message, it should be secured.
Okay.
So that it should not be, it should be encrypted. So whatever the message or text we are passing, that should be encrypted. We should not pass any without that. So that things will become part of the enterprise standard requirement.
Okay, got it. Mm-hmm.
So actually we are going to talk about more onto that. So actually some of the examples onto that. There are some examples for business rule requirement. So if you have, let's say, like you are to so business requirements are there, which is defining the main how your business operation will be operate. So there is like if you say we want to go with regulatory, there is a rule requirement is called as regulatory. So that example we say if the employee is terminated, the employee cannot log in into the system. So this is actually like example for the business rules. So in the security, if the user is authorized, then user may approve the expense reimbursement. So this is the different examples for the business rules. So if you say one more, if you like to say the person actually is the credit score for him is actually below 650, then there is a business requirement is that it cannot be auto approved, and if it is more than 650, it may go for auto approved for the loan. So the next is like the change control. So here you can see that the word actually you can see the change. It's actually replace and change. So there should be in this actually whatever the existing one we want to change that, or we want to increase, or we want to add more functionality with the change control requirement. So if you see the two examples were here, so replace existing manual system to print distribution paperwork with automated solution. And the same thing actually like earlier might be credit score is verified with different method. Now they want to use with a new web service to check the credit score. So there is examples for the change control. And this is actually which I told you about that. Where actually we see that in the website homepage for each rental car, location includes company logo. So there actually we have the business need is that it says the corporate branding red line. So these requirements are need to be converted onto that. So and if like you see the statements which are generated, it needs to be the SAP format. So this is the industry standard. So same way we have different standards are there for messaging and everything. So whatever the things which they are generating, so they can directly take that statements into the SAP onto that. So there is we need to follow that industry standard or enterprise standard for that.
You mean SAP means?
SAP, yeah, SAP. So that is the one. Actually, this is just we are generating an example. This one is not any specific to Pega or anything. This is just an example because SAP has various products which generates some customer statements. So if some company which we are sending the customer statement to that person, so it need to be into the same specific format.
Okay.
And this is the functional requirement, and actually where we say that exactly what we want to achieve it. So if you say we want to achieve user filters new cars, and actually which release we want to go for that, so we can mention onto the functional requirement. And the non-functional requirement actually which says that how actually like it's not related to any business functionality. This is actually like how you behavior your systems onto that. Okay, and actually we should include metrics when we are defining the non-functional requirements. Say the screen should respond within 2 seconds, right? So they are actually like some of the measures we provide during the non-functional requirement. So if we say we have an example for various non-functional requirement in case of usability, performance, availability. So say the system should be available 99.9%. Reliability, scalable. So scalable, see it like it depends on the number of users. So that should be provided like how our systems are scalable. So we have different category for the different non-functional requirements. So that all things we can be included within the Pega itself. Yeah. So this is like how we can capture requirements in Pega. So that actually I will show you. In Pega, we need to go to the Designer Studio. From the Designer Studio, we go to the application and profile and the requirements. And there we have the option to create requirements, and we can give the external repository link, and we can attach the document to support the requirement as well. So that actually just I showed you into here. So this is the application. We can capture requirements. So today we are not going to do the requirements gathering. So once actually we'll talk more about the specification, and then actually we are going to do how we can add and edit requirements here. So there is now.
Mukesh, can we use Pega Express for this? Like that was specific for business architects, right? Why are we still?
No. In Pega Express, there is no provision to capture requirements.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there is actually like to define the prototypes is there, but to gathering the requirement and specification, there is no options from there.
Okay, so we still have to go through Designer Studio, and
yes,
prototyping is with Pega Express. Okay,
that's
thank
right.
you.
Yeah. Okay. So now if you like, we need to final again the knowledge question associations.
I mean, can you quickly tell me what's the difference between Pega Express and Design Studio? Like, I mean, I think Rico was saying like we do prototyping using the Pega Express.
Manoj, actually we are going to cover Pega Express in future classes. So there is like, yeah, because we have actually like how to use Pega Express, how to create prototype in Pega Express. We are going to cover that.
Okay. Now, I was wondering what's the difference. Okay? We'll talk later then.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, I'll give it in 2 minutes. So Pega Express is newly introduced a portal which is actually mainly going to use by business analysts. So there they can use actually like only cases like case modeling, data type, screen flow. Okay, they can create all this there. And Designer Studio is actually like the complete portal for developers, testers, everyone can use from that. So they actually the complete application is getting built in the Designer Studio. But in case of Pega Express, only you are going to create the prototype of your application, which doesn't require any technical knowledge. Without any technical knowledge, we can able to like generate prototype in Pega Express.
But I thought you said you can't even create a requirement from that, right?
No, actually, see, there is like the how you can create case and everything. There is there, but relate requirements and everything is not there. But you can Requirements, actually, you cannot create requirements there. Requirements need to be captured and specification need to be captured into the Designer Studio only. But you can create the prototype in Pega Express.
Oh, you mean the requirement prototype can be created there, but the real requirement should be in the Designer Studio. That's what you're saying.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, now I get it. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Yep.
So now, actually, there are some more questions. Yeah, so we'll go to the little faster onto that. Okay, so this is the first question: who determines the functionality of an application? Business stakeholders, project sponsors, or developer?
Is business stakeholders and
Yes, it's business stakeholders. Actually, project sponsors and developers, they are going to implement that functionality, but business stakeholders will give, like provide you that what functionality need to be there in that application.
how will project sponsors going to develop it? They are not going to develop it, right? Their developers are going to develop it.
Yeah, actually they are actually the part of the implementation, because the project sponsors, they will not give you the functionality what need to be there. They are just the sponsors for it.
Okay.
Yeah. So then the next question. You are the business architect on a new project. Your stakeholders have given you a list of 700 requirements. These requirements are year old but are very important to the customer. What should you do with this information?
DF.
Yes.
Third one.
Lead the key stakeholder to learn why the requirements are important. That's right. Yeah. Review
And C,
requirements to make sure. It's B actually, because that requirement need to be entered into the Pega, because this is related to Pega. The B answer is B on the one more answer.
okay, if there is C, then we have already entered the requirement in Pega. We are categorizing it, so that's why I said C.
That's why actually it's because the requirements are not there. You have just got the requirements. It's not there in Pega. So first thing actually is need to be entered into the Pega. So categorizing is actually comes after actually it is already in Pega.
So can it be A? Listen and clarify things.
No, actually the people like say actually they don't know about that, right? So it should be B, D, and F. So the D answer you are doing right. Meet the key stakeholders to learn why the requirements are important. You can't go with any people, right? So actually that's the course. Actually, then say that which people you are going to talk.
So you're saying you're skipping C because it is a year old. That's why you're not categorizing it.
Yeah, C can be, but from this question actually says that that's not into the Pega.
Okay.
And you don't know how you can categorize that initially.
Okay.
First, actually, like you need to understand the requirement. You enter the complete requirement. You meet with the stakeholders. From that stakeholders, you define like what is the category of the rule. So from after the discussion only, you will get to know what is the category of each requirement.
Okay.
So that's why we are not giving this answer. Categorize each requirement in Pega, because we don't know initially like why, because first thing is don't know why that is important. So that's like you need to do why that is important, how you can categorize, that will come later. So initially he will going to do the requirements into the Pega, he will meet the key stakeholders and review requirements, why actually if they are not repetitive. So it's B, D, and F for it.
So are these kind of questions they ask for certification?
Yes, actually, like this type of question will be asked in the certification.
Okay.
So the next is select a statement that best describes the purpose of requirement analysis.
Okay.
I think it's C and D.
Yes, yes, Sonal, it's C and D. Because actually, like in the purpose, actually, we are not going to like if we don't know, it's like we are going to prototype the application or we want to replicate the legacy functionality. Main purpose is actually like what we want to achieve to the business problem and how they will interact with the application. So that is the main purpose of the requirement analysis. The next is select the answer that best describe how to follow TCO when analyzing requirements. This is very Pega specific one, so think in the terms of Pega.
B and E.
It's only one answer.
Oh.
And it's B, I guess.
Yes, it's B. It's like as a DCO, it says that enter information directly into the Pega, so that will be the foundation of your application.
Okay.
Next is you are meeting with your team to review a list of existing requirements. Which requirement is verifiable and testable?
Is it B?
Yes, that's the B. Because see, in the first requirement, it's like what is the like what time, what the budget, we don't know, and the C also we say that which location, like from any location means like which location we cannot test it, and that's like the same thing. User friendly and have professional experience, like what professional experience you want to look for that. So that is not verifiable one. Like that statement is not to that. So here you have that. The B is the right answer onto that. Like after 3 unsuccessful login attempts, he will be logged out. So that actually we can test and verifiable onto that. The next is the requirements are in Pega. You are working with stakeholders to categorize each requirement. Which of the following is a business rule requirement?
Is it A?
No. A is actually to say like them not says about the business requirement.
C.
It's C. Actually, there actually we are deciding what actually like the business we are want to achieve. So that actually is approving the business expenses reimbursement, and if the manager is authorized, then he may approve. That actually the two things are there. One thing is the first word, and there is a description. Okay, so that is a short description and into that. So
What was, I just forgot, what was this business rule requirement? What does that mean?
I told there are 5 requirements, right? Business rules, change, okay, enterprise, and
Security?
functional and non-functional.
Okay.
So
That's the
business rules,
category.
yes, that's the categorize, right? So if you are working with the stakeholder, the categorize each requirement. Which of the following is a business rule requirement onto that? So that you need to categorize the requirements. So this, if you can see, first, this is actually not business requirement, export report format. So this is more onto the how you want to export the report. So which format you are going to use. So that you can see that is the functional requirement. And this is also
What about D, Mukesh? That's also more of that's not a business rule.
email notification for password change. System sends email to notify user that their password has been changed. Yeah, this one actually, yeah, this is also.
Can this be an enterprise rule, because all any application will have the email notification for password change, right? I mean.
Yeah, I'm thinking actually like which category of the rule it should go. If it's yeah, this is also we can say this one actually like is a business requirement also. If we say we are changing the password, we should notify the for password change. Okay, this question actually I'll just take it once more. So why actually that answer is not correct? I'll just take that out. So,
Yeah, so I felt this can be, D can be more of an enterprise rule than a business rule, because this might be common for more than one.
for everyone.
Yeah, within the.
Might be. Yes. Yeah, actually, like basically, yeah, that might be the reason, because password change is not specific to any business rule. Actually, that is usually like the common rule, so that will be part of the enterprise level or industry standard. I'll come back to this one tomorrow.
Okay.
So, yeah, this is the last one. The stakeholders has asked you to add the following requirement to the release. All but one of the following requirements must be rewritten for clarity. Which requirement is clear and concise?
Is it C?
Is it A?
E.
Mukesh, are you there?
Yeah. Yes.
He's smiling. You know, we are all giving different answers. So.
Yes, actually got A, B, C, D. Actually,
The right answer is we have not yet said, right?
Yeah, but we have eliminated one, so that is great.
Yeah, that might be the right answer.
which one we have eliminated? Which one is eliminated?
D, I guess.
Why D was eliminated?
Because it was giving two different, in the first line talked about customer service representative should view customer invoices, and then it's giving another requirement in the second line, update the billing database to add Mexico before migrating new application. So
That's right.
um,
So B is not right. So A is also, if you can see, it's not giving any clear and concise. It is based on the requirements. Okay, what actually future updates, what enhancements. So that also we can say we can omit out. Okay, so there is now we have two, C and D. So if you see actually the first line, okay, it's actually about expense report approval. Okay. And in the second line, it says that approve report, and actually all the things which is associated with each report and everything is should be stated, right?
yeah.
So that actually can say like there's the more actually explanatory onto that. I think B or C is also, that's why I get confused with it. Both C and D looks like clear and concise.
So what is the correct answer? C and B?
No, actually there is only one. But for me, it's like the both C and D looks clear and like it should be like both are actually clear.
Real-time balance of what? Like what account balance? It's not
Brokerage
specified.
account? Yeah, users should be able to their real-time balance for their online brokerage account.
Actually, I think B is not complete in the sense that they are here the requirement is that the customer service representative should be able to view the customer invoice, and in the billing database we are adding Mexico.
I think we ruled out A and B already.
Yeah, A and B already is
Yeah,
rolled out.
yeah.
Okay, it's about C and D.
Okay, so you are talking about C and D
Yeah.
and not
C and D.
okay.
AB is already rolled out. Actually, that is not correct. Okay, so I'll come back to this one. Actually, I think the answer is actually the C for it. So I want to actually I'll just check it out why D is also not the correct one, because D is also look clear onto that the requirement. So the answer is this for it C. I'll check this out. I want to like why actually come back. So we'll come back to this one tomorrow. So this is actually like how we can go for requirements, smart objective, and what are the different tips for requirement one. So this like because I tell you told because this topic objectives and requirements are very subjective, and based on that actually like it's required more discussion actually, which is good for someone actually it will be not good for something else. So it will be bad for something, and if you like so it this is very discussing and required for actually to come up with that which is actually like will be the best choice and why that other choice are not true. So sometimes it's very confusing as well, like when you define the requirements and objectives.
So these are pretty much the similar questions that come in certification.
That's right. So this type of the questions only will come into the certification.
Wow. Okay, so they're going to confuse us then. Okay.
Yes.
Can we have some more questions to practice before, and we can discuss it tomorrow? Maybe we can try it out and.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. I will get some more questions like that, and we'll practice before starting off that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So we'll yeah. It's actually like more than 7:50 now. So we actually
Sure.
we're logging off. So sorry for little bit more longer time today. So we can continue tomorrow again. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye all. Yeah.